Hallelujah. Good evening, good night, good morning, good afternoon, good brunch time. Whatever time you are listening to this broadcast, to this teaching, whatever time you tapped in, welcome to A Voice in the Wilderness. Yes, and today indeed we are a voice in the wilderness. Today indeed, if this is your first time, as I said, the name of the channel is Voice in the Wilderness, and we are here studying the biblical narrative. We study the biblical. We believe in the Bible, the scripture from Genesis to Revelation. We believe that there is one God, one Creator, who created the whole entire universe without asking for anybody's permission, without asking for my permission or your permission. And we believe that He keeps that He has created, even us, in our rebellious ways and manners. And He keeps calling out to us to come back or return or repent. He keeps calling us to come back. Come back to what? Come back to repent to what? And the name of this teaching is the standard. Come back to the standard that He set. If you had listened to part 1, part 2, you will have heard about the standard. He, Yehovah, Yah, Elohim, God, created everything and set standards for everything. Rules, laws, principles, commands. So I call them standards, but all of those things combined. He is the one who set everything. He spoke to the light obeyed. He spoke to the waters obeyed. He spoke to the dry land obeyed. He spoke to the sun, the moon, the stars. Everybody obeyed. He spoke to the earth to bring forth herb-bearing seed, and it obeyed. He spoke to the seas and told the seas to bring forth the seafaring animals, and every single entity obeyed as they were commanded. They were given commands to multiply after them according to their kind. And as far as I know, as far as I see, as far as I can witness, when I look around all over the earth, in the plant kingdom, in the animal kingdom, in whatever other entity that was created, that was given the ability to reproduce, they reproduce after their kind. Right? When we come to the last entity that He created, which is humankind, us, we the ones who had to go rebel. We the ones who had to go break the standards, the principles. What was the principles? Cultivate or serve. I love that. I love that word. Serve the garden. Serve the earth. Serve it. Be a servant to the earth. Right? Yeshua said, those who are greatest among you will be a servant. He will be the greatest servant. So we have to serve the earth. We have to serve each other, minister to each other. That's what we're here for. And we were not supposed to eat from the tree of the knowledge of good and evil, but we did. Well, we were we were outwitted, I like to call it. We were outsmarted. You see? And we did the thing that we ought not to have done, and we did it. And what does Paul say? Who can save us? Nothing but the Word, Yeshua, the Word. So we have to come back to the Word, right? I call what happened in Genesis 3 a virus. The virus took over our hard drive. I want to go into the analogy about the hard drive and all that. Go back Go into those teachings and you'll get that, right? The virus came in and dominated the hard drive and overtook all the information. And, you know, so you put in information and the virus was giving out whatever it wanted to give out. Not the truth, half-truths, truth seasoned with lies all around it and all kinds of stuff. And the only way we could get rid of this virus is to come back to the word and read it and read it and read it and read it. And as we read it, we minister to our bodies, we minister to our hearts, our souls, our minds, and we push back the virus. We slowly erase and eradicate the virus. Okay? And it's an ongoing task. It's an everyday thing, right? It's a contending for your faith. It's a daily walk, and people talk about it in those terms. Okay? So the last time I was on this topic, I stalled, right? You know, like I was driving down the road and the engine just shut off. And I was looking through my notes to find a particular passage of scripture that I marked off to bring up at that point in the teaching, and I couldn't find it. And I was fumbling through. It took me, I don't know how long. If you saw it, you would see that part. I didn't cut it. That's not my intention. I don't want to cut nothing off, because to me it's all who I am. It's all part of who I am. It's all part of who we are. We make mistakes. We err. We forget. We slip. We do all kinds of stuff. And I don't want to cut that out of a teaching, because I want you to see me as I am. Okay? So I eventually mentioned it from memory, and got past it eventually and was able to finish the teaching. But I'm back right there today, and that's where I'm going to pick up from, because it is crucial. It is crucial to this idea that Yehovah came in the beginning, set all these principles and commands and laws and rules and statutes and however you want to call it, but he set them there. And then, you know, all of a sudden Yeshua came and died, and next thing you know, we hear, well, all those things are set aside. We don't want to do that no more. We don't want to listen to that no more. That's the old stuff. You know, we in the dispensation of grace, as if, wait a second, grace, what you mean a dispensation of grace? When God, last week, go back and listen to that one. Last week, we read 9, as a matter of fact, we had 8 witnesses, and the actual passage that we read was the 9th one. 9 passages of scripture where God called himself gracious and kind. So, what do you mean the dispensation of grace is forever? It's always been there. Ask, what's his name in the garden? Ask the man and the woman in the garden. Wasn't that grace? What was the command? The day you eat of it, you will surely die. Did they die like physically? No, they didn't die physically. But they were on the road. Everything was corrupted, right? The hard drive got corrupted. So if you don't deal with the virus is just going to chew in, if I could use that, and gnaw in and get into the hard drive and eventually overtake the hard drive. And the hard drive will no longer have the pertinent information that anybody needs. You see what I'm saying? So it will spit back out only the viral information. Then, after the two of them, how about Cain? How about Abel? How about Cain? How about Cain? How about Cain? When he killed, first murder, he killed his brother, his own blood brother, he killed him. And then when God issued the punishment, this is what Cain said: that punishment is too hard for me to bear. It's too hard for me to carry that burden. So what did grace come in and said, okay, I'll put a mark on you. Ain't anybody who touch you, they're gonna have to deal with me. That was the mark. That was the mark. God put a mark on him. Lighten the burden. Isn't that grace? Oh my goodness, grace. Grace. Oh, how about Genesis 6? When the whole earth was full of violence and men was doing whatever they want to do. What happened? Grace looked down and grace saw a man called Noah. And what does written narrative say? Noah found grace in the eyes of Yehovah. Woo! So, what you mean? What you mean by we in the dispensation of grace? That was grace all along, people. So, again, I am determined in my heart to go after this false teaching that the Torah, the law, the commandments, the instructions are null and void. Because that's not true. And I intend to deal with that. God set the standard. God has said over and over, I am Yehovah, I change not. I didn't ask you and your permission to create nothing. So how you giving me instructions now? No, the telling the dog where to go and what to do. Really? Anyway, coming back to where we are here, the standard. We have to come back. We have to go back to the standard. That's the only way we could survive. What did Yeshua say? If you love me, keep my commandments. If you are in me and my word is in you, you could ask for what? If you are in me, who is Yeshua? He is the word. Yes, he was a man, but he is a man created with the word, by the word, for the word, in the word. Every cell it was word. He was perspiring word. So if you are in the word and the word is in you, you could ask for whatever you want. Right? And it will be given. And then later on, hopefully we'll get to Matthew 24. Where people who thought they were in the word, people who thought they perceived that they were in the word, they perceived that the word was in them. And so they went to the word and they said, Lord, Lord, didn't we prophesy in your name? Didn't we cast out demons in your name? Didn't we heal the sick? Didn't we do all these miraculous things in your name? And he said, oh, getting ahead of myself. Let me slow down. We don't get there. What did he say? So, by the way, just so you know, we're going in Jeremiah chapter 31. So if you're following along, get your Bible and find Jeremiah chapter 31. You got 10 seconds. Because I should have said that before while I was ranting on, but I forgot. So you got 10 seconds. Starting now. So, what did he say? We gonna get to that, hopefully. So, the idea that Yehovah created everything, set everything in its place and in its order to function accordingly, according to its own rules and principles and statutes and commandments, as the seas and the waters and the animals and everybody else do. And all through the first 5 books, all through the prophets, all through the historical books, all through the books of wisdom, we we keep hearing this overriding theme. Obey, obey. If you obey, if you do, if you believe, if you hold fast, if you guard in your heart, hold it in your heart, guard it in your heart, tie it on your finger, tie it on your forehead. Think about it day and night, Joshua. So he's going to do all of that. Make all that fuss. As I say, it's like a father, it's like a parent. If you have kids, you know what I'm talking about. It's like a parent every day talking to the child about the same thing. Boy, how many times I try to tell you, stop doing this, stop doing that. This is what you do. That girl, same thing. As a father, why it is this awesome God of ours, Yehovah, is making all of this gambage, making all of this fuss from Genesis all through to Revelation, to just throw it away one day, to just say we don't bother with that no more. Really? That's why you trying to teach your children the right thing to do? That's why you're teaching your children right from wrong, so they could do what they want to do at some point? Really? That's why you teach your kids right from wrong. That's why you're teaching them in the way that they should go, so that when they're old, they don't depart from it. That's why you're teaching them the right things, so that when they grow up, they could just do what they want. That's really what's in your heart? I don't think so. I don't think so. I think you want them at some point to begin to listen to what you're saying and do what you're asking them to do. If that's not why, then just don't tell them nothing. Let them grow up and let them do whatever they want to do. Because it doesn't matter. It doesn't matter. It's not going to account for anything. Why he fuss with them? In the desert. Kill them, scold them, whoop them, feed them, bless them, beat them, whoop them, kill them, scold them. Because those are the things happen. When he got mad, he killed them. They was having a party in the mountain. Moses threw on the tablets. The earth opened. What he told them? Pull the sword out. He told every man, pull your sword out and kill your brother who was having the party. Kill them who was doing evil. What? People had to kill their own family, their cousins and the brothers and the sisters. The what? All of that. And God, full well knowing that 2,000 years later, 3,000 years, however long later, none of that would amount to anything. So why? And my argument and my point is, if we just think for a moment, just, hey, slow everything down, take a breath, and yeah, that don't make no sense. Just doesn't make any sense. Okay, that's more than 10 seconds. That's like 10 minutes, okay? You should have been there, Jeremiah chapter 31. We're talking about the standard, okay? The laws, the principles, the ordinances, the precepts, however it is. That's what I'm talking about. And I want you to see the mind of God. I want you to get the perspective of God, the perception of Yehovah, to see what his intention is. Regardless of what them people teaching you. Listen to what the intention is. Jeremiah chapter 31. We're going to start right at 31. 31 and 31. Behold, the days come, says Yehovah, that I will make a new covenant with the house of Israel. Go listen to my teaching on who is Israel. And with the house of Judah. Is one and the same. Right? Not according to the covenant that I made with their fathers in the day that I took them by the hand to bring them out of the land of Egypt, which covenant of mine they broke, right? They broke it. God didn't break his covenant. We did. Why? Because of the hardness of our hearts. We just hard-hearted. We want to ask every question we could think of. We don't want to flow with God. We just want to rebel. Okay? He said, which covenant of mine they broke, although I was a husband to them, says Yehovah. 33. But this is the covenant that I will make with the house of Israel in those days. Which days? Good question. Hold that thought. Let's continue to read. In those days, says Yehovah, I will put my law. My what? My law. My what? My law. My what? My commandments. My what? My precepts. My what? My statutes. My what? My law. I would put my law, the same law that we were taught was obsolete, null and void. We don't want to listen to that. We don't want to do that. God, Yehovah is saying he will put his law, watch where he's putting it, people, in their inward parts. In their inward part. No, not on the forehead, not around the finger. Okay? Not tight on the frontlets of the eyes. Okay? Not on the garments in fringes. Okay? No. He's going to put it in the inward part, inside where you can't even see. Where I can't even see. And, we in 33, I will write it in their heart, or some versions say on their heart. I will be their Elohim, and they shall be my people. So, we were taught, I was taught, that's what I was taught in the church. Oh, we don't listen to that. That's old. That's forbidden. That's gone. It's Jesus died and took all that. He nailed it on the cross and all that stuff we were taught. What? He nailed it on the cross? We don't have to do it? So what is this? What God planning to put in our inward parts and on our heart? What is that he planning to put? What is that law? What is that? What is that? That's something else? That's not that. That's something new coming? Something fresh? Listen. And listen to me carefully and seriously. We have got to stop and think. Right? Again, I say to people, I deal with perception. Okay? Our perception has been thwarted. Our perception has been maligned. Our perception has been dominated by a virus since Genesis 3. Okay? And only the antivirus is the word. So Yehovah says, the days come when this is what I'm going to do. I'm going to put my law, my Torah, my instructions, my command. And the reason why I say law, Torah, instructions, commandments, precepts, is because they all fit in the same pot. It's all part of the same stew. Not that red one that Esau ate. But it's all part of the nice beef, chunky beef stew. Okay? It's a part of the pot. So learn to keep that in your front of your mind, not in the back of your mind, in front of your mind. I want you to understand that. That's what he's planning to do. When is he planning to do? The days that will come, right? In the days that will come. And a lot of people think the days that are come had came with Yeshua. Well, if it came with Yeshua, why are we not doing his law? If you believe that the law is written on your heart, why aren't you doing it? Why aren't you being obedient to it? Why are you following the lie that says, you don't have to do it. I don't have to listen to that. I don't have to do the Sabbath day. Or I could choose any day. And I'm going to show you that the days ain't come yet. Last week we read in Matthew 5. Matthew 5 says, until heaven and earth passes away, not one jot, not one tittle shall pass away from these instructions. Until heaven and earth pass away. I could look outside from here where I'm sitting in my bedroom. I could look outside. I could see, right? There's trees out there. I could see the dirt, the land, the neighbor next door, the house and the grass. And so I could see the earth. So the earth ain't passed away. And I can't remember hearing anything in the news that the earth passed away and this is a new earth. I don't know when that happened because it never did. Okay? It never did. So if he says, until heaven and earth passes away, and heaven and earth has not passed away, how come we are trying to follow people who give us these instructions? We listen to them. And we don't guard our heart against them. We give them our heart and our money and our time. We give ourselves to them. And yet still, they're misleading us. So that's one proof that comes straight out of Matthew 5. Let's read. We're still in Jeremiah 31, Jeremiah 31, now we're in verse 34. They will no longer, listen to this. They will no longer teach his neighbor, and every man teach his brother, saying, know Yehovah. So, the days that are coming, that Yehovah is going to put his laws on our inward parts and write his laws on the tables of our hearts. Those days, when those days come and Yehovah does what he just said he is going to do, there will be no need for me to be doing what I'm doing now. There will be no need. You know why? Let's read on. For they will know me from the least to the greatest, says Yehovah. Let's pause right there. I wouldn't have to teach you nothing. You wouldn't have to teach me nothing. We will have no need for the church, for the pastor, for the prophet, for the evangelist. None of that. Why? Because we will all know him. From the least to the greatest, we will know him. You will not tell me what the words say. You will not break it down for me. You will not get all deep and spiritual for me. You will not do that. Because I will know him. And I will have to get deep and spiritual for you. Because you will know him. So, are we in those days, people? Think about where you are right now. Are those days here? Is that time? Is this time that time? I venture to say no. I venture to say no. 100%, absolutely not. So, why are we believing? Why have we believed a false report? He says, verse 34, I'm going to go over to read it again. For they will no longer teach each one his neighbor. So I wouldn't have to talk to my neighbors about knowing Yehovah. I would not have any teachings, any Bible studies, none of that. And every man wouldn't have to teach his brother saying, know Yehovah. No, because Yehovah says they will all know me, from the least to the greatest, says Yehovah, because I will forgive their iniquity and I will remember their sin no more. Yehovah, verse 35, who gives the sun for a light by day and the ordinances of the moon and of the stars for a light by night. You see that word? He gave the moon and the stars ordinances to go by, so they know when, they know how to operate. See, you all think I was lying. Who stirs up the sea so that its waves roar. Yehovah of hosts is his name. Says, if these ordinances depart from before me, says Yehovah, then the offspring of Israel also will cease from being a nation before me forever. So, let me break it down for you. Here's what God is saying. If these things don't happen, these things that I am saying, this is not I, Maxi. This is I, Yehovah. These things that Yehovah is saying to us, Yehovah is saying, if these things do not happen, then the children of Israel is going to cease forever. There's not going to be anything called the children of Israel. And in other places, Yehovah has promised Abraham, Isaac, Jacob, David, and a bunch of other people that he is going to have a remnant in the earth. He, Yehovah, is going to have a remnant in the earth. Which means that everything he just says is going to happen. There is going to be an Israel. So, why I'm not, no, I don't believe in that. I'm going with the written narrative. I'm going by what this says here. Let every man be a liar, but let God, let Yehovah be true. So, we have to develop the right perspective. We have to develop the correct perspective. We have to get these scales off our eyes. Okay? We have to pray. I know, I've said before in testimonies, in previous teachings, that the same thing that happened to Paul, when he described it as scales falling off his eyes, that has literally happened to me. And I'm not making it up to be dramatic. That the scales fall off my eyes and I felt like that is what happened. And this is, I didn't even know who Paul was. Didn't even know about the story and the scales and all of that happened to him. But when I found out, when I read his testimony about the scales falling off his eyes, I knew it was true because I experienced the very same thing. And unless we have a mind to deal with that, to deal with these truths, I'm pretty good with that one. That was another word that messed me up. Had me going weird, right? But we listen, we have to begin to cultivate the correct perspective. And the only way we could begin to do that is if we block out the noise. If we block out the noise, the hooping and the hollering and all that, bring your $100 and come into covenant with me and all that. If we block the noise out and we focus in on the written word, just read it. Read Genesis and just listen. Take your time. Slow. Ask God, say, show me. Read it for yourself. Slow your mind down. Forget Bishop, whoever. Block them off. Because what a lot of people, and I know this to be true, what a lot of people do is when they read the scripture, they read it with a already formed interpretation. See? And when you read something with an interpretation that was already formed or conditioned in your mind, what happens is you see the same thing. Unless the Spirit quicken you and show you something different. Okay? And that's the work of the Spirit. That's how the Spirit works. That's how the Spirit operates. And He could do that. But a lot of times the Spirit works with the heart of us. Let me say it this way. A lot of times the Spirit will work with a soft-hearted person. So it's not until your heart gets to a place where it begins to get soft or softens to a certain degree, you hear the Spirit better. All right? You hear the Spirit better. So we have to understand that this is what's important. Let's read. Let's get back to this. Remember, I said, the corruption dominated in Genesis chapter 3. And she was outwitted, outsmarted, deceived, and she ended up doing the thing that she was not supposed to do. Okay? Which was, she disobeyed. Remember, everything we're talking about, what Moses said, we've studied it in the last 2 sessions. Today I set before you Deuteronomy 11, a blessing and a curse. But it was not 2 different things. It was one thing that he was setting before them. And the thing that he was laying before the people were the commands, the instructions, the Torah, the precepts, the ordinance. That's the thing that he was laying before them. And he said, the blessing you receive is if you obeyed the commands. The curses you receive is if you disobey the commands. And that's what we're going to roll into, right? But we had to I wanted to get back to this place in Jeremiah 31, because that's what I was looking for when I stumbled in my last teaching. That's the passage I was looking for. To read this for you, to show you, to explain to you that the idea that the commandments, the laws, the statutes, the precepts of Yehovah is null and void, is disallowed, is disavowed, is done away with, that's not true. That perception is a false perception. And I wanted to show you that. Why it's a false perception? Because those days have not yet arrived. Even though Yeshua came, even though Yeshua died, the days when God is writing the instructions on the inward parts and in writing the laws on your heart is not yet come, because we still go about teaching and preaching to each other. You still have need for a preacher. We still have need for an apostle. We still have need for a pastor. We still have need for a prophet. That those entities are still operational. And as long as those entities are still operational, what God said in Jeremiah 31 and beyond has not yet happened. And what is he putting on the inside? His law. So why is he going to create the law? Why is he going to set the law as the standard, then move it from as the standard, and then bring it back as the No. That doesn't even sound nothing like God. No. No, God is steady, steadfast. No, this is what I'm doing. And we are the ones who have to change our perception. He doesn't have to change his. We are the ones who have to change ours and go back and come back and submit ourselves unto him. Okay, so now, having talked about the blessings and the cursings, which we finished with last week, in the last session, that's what we were talking about from Deuteronomy 27. So let's go there. Deuteronomy chapter 27. Okay? And we read that at length last week. And we talked about, cursed you will be this. Cursed is he who lies with his father's wife. Cursed is he who lies with his mother-in-law. Cursed is he who kills his neighbor secretly. Right? Cursed is he who takes a bribe to kill an innocent person. And all those things. Right? And then we closed off with what? Well, we didn't close off with this. But this is just before we closed. We said, cursed is he who does not uphold all the words of this law. Cursed is he who does not uphold all the words of this law. How do you uphold all the words of this law? You uphold them by obeying them. So if you do not uphold, if you do not obey, you obey. Need I spell it out? We're going on to Deuteronomy chapter 28. In Deuteronomy chapter 28 is where I think I read the closing verse, because we're going into some blessings. And then we're going to go roll back really quickly into some more curses. Right? If you look at it, there's a whole lot more curses than there are blessings. Because to be honest with you, you don't need all them blessings. Right? But man, the list for the curses is like pages and pages long. But the list for the blessings is like half a page. It's like, what meaneth thou this, Father? So, are you in Deuteronomy 28? Are we there? We there. Good. Let's go. Let's read. Deuteronomy 28. We're going to do some reading, right? I'm going to skip through some readings because for time's sake, right? Deuteronomy 28 verse 1 says as follows. It shall happen. What? If you listen diligently. Here goes those two words. Listen diligently. They kind of always flow together. Listen diligently. Listen diligently. He never says listen haphazardly. Or listen, by the way. Or pay attention. Kind of halfway. Kind of give me some of your attention. No. It's always all of your attention in a deep, intense, focused manner. Diligent. That's what diligent is, right? If you shall listen diligently to Yehovah your Elohim's voice. What is Yehovah your Elohim's voice? What is that? Is okay, it's that like you hear my voice, right? So he can talk. He can speak, right? His voice is also his words. His words, the words that he has written down, the words that he has commanded, his instructions, his laws, his precepts, his ordinances, his Torah. That's his voice also. So when you see the word voice, don't just think, oh, okay, okay. Huh? Speak, Lord, your servant is listening. It's not just that voice, right? So he says to observe, to do all his commandments, which I command you today, that Yehovah, your Elohim, will set you high above all the nations of the earth. If you obey, if you listen diligently to observe and to do all his commands that he's commanding you, that he's going to set you high above. Again, if you've listened to me anytime, if you have listened to who is Israel, what are we going to do with forever, what is man, if you have listened to any one of those teachings, if you have listened to myself and my brother Daryl in our podcast that we did previously, talking about the essence of male, the essence of females, and all these different topics that we did, you will hear me say these words. When you see nations, don't just think about continents like Europe and America and Israel, land masses. When you see nations, think those, also think people. Okay? Because in more instances, that's what is going to reference. It is going to be talking about people. So when he says here that Yehovah is going to lift you high above all the nations of the earth, he's not talking about the land masses like you in the clouds floating, looking down at everybody. No. He's talking about lifting you up above all the people. Again, not lifting you up in the clouds, but in terms of blessings, in terms of your stature, in terms of how people look at you, how people perceive you. They're going to always look to you and not necessarily for you. You are going to be a source of hope, a source of strength, a source of inspiration, a source of blessing, a source of finance, a source of wisdom, if you will. All those things, that's what that means. You are going to be everybody's going to look at you in amazement and be like, wow, those people, man, them is God's people, bro. I'm trying to get in with them, yes. Can you hook me up? How can I be part? How can I join in, man? I love it. Oh, we had to worship a God? Oh, Yehovah? And so what? How do I have to do? Oh, you have to do, okay. Just live upright. Just love my brother and love him and honor him and just obey what that's all? Oh, sure. I can do that. Come on. I'm in, bro. I'm in. Sabbath. What is Sabbath? 7th day. Sunday, Monday, Tuesday. Saturday? No work. I can't go to work on Saturday. Okay, so I'm working on Saturday. So, okay, help me with that one, because I don't know if I could just, maybe go tell them, ask them. Maybe they might just say, okay, no problem. So I can work Sunday to Friday. Oh, there you go. So when I go into the office Monday, I'm going to tell them, hey, guys, I'm doing this thing and I'm wondering, is it possible I can get Saturdays off? I could work Sunday instead. I could come Sunday to Friday. Oh, really? I can. Oh, thank you so much, man. See? Listen, all things are possible. Okay? All things are possible if you are willing and obedient. And this is what the promise Moses is telling them. This is the instructions. He said, if you listen diligently to Yehovah's voice, to observe and to do all his commandments, which he commanded you today, that Yehovah will lift you up high above all the other people. People are going to look at you differently, talk to you differently, wonder after you different. Say, excuse me, why you always laugh? You're always such a joyful, happy, kind of go-lucky person. You know, you don't get mad. I never see you cussing and carrying on. Could you tell me how that? Oh, that's because I believe, such. This is my God. That's how I live, and these are kind of, so I just strive to be that way, and he helps me. Wow, that's awesome. See what I'm saying? So, Deuteronomy 28 verse 1. Let's go to verse 2. Verse 2 says, all these blessings will come upon you, and not just come upon you, they will run past you, right? They will overtake you if you listen to Yehovah, your Elohim's voice. His voice, again, is, yes, he talks, but it's his words, his commands, his statutes, his laws, his ordinances, his principles. Don't listen to them people. Listen to his voice. And he lists the blessings, some of the blessings, right? Blessed in the city, blessed in the field. Right? If you ever been to church, that's what you hear that a lot. Oh, I'm blessed in the city, I'm blessed in the field. You will be blessed in the fruit of your body. You know what the fruit of your body is for the kids out there. You don't want to go too far, but you know what the fruit of your body is. You'll be blessed. Not just that you would have a lot of kids, but your kids will be blessed. In other words, they'll be healthy, they will be strong, they'll be intelligent, they'll be wise, they will put their hands to good works. All that good stuff is blessings. The fruit of your ground. So if you're a farmer, whatever you do, the fruit of your animals, if you have animals, that's going to be the increase of your livestock. The young of your flock, your basket, your kneading trough shall be blessed. What's your basket? It's like your food, your cupboards, different things. Your basket, what you put in baskets, right? Your kneading trough, right? You kneaded bread and stuff. Your bread is always going to be on point. Nice hot bread out, fresh out the oven. Just put some butter on it and you're good. Right? You shall be, verse 6 now, this is verse 6. You shall be blessed when you come in, blessed when you go out. When you go to work, you're going to be blessed. When you leave work, you're going to be blessed. You're going to be blessed. Smiling, joy. What's the fruit of the Spirit? Love, joy, peace, patience. You're going to be blessed. You're going to be overflowing in those things. Verse 7. Yehovah will cause your enemies who rise up against you to be struck before you. Remember Proverbs 16 we read, if your ways please Yehovah, he will make even your enemies be at peace with you. So if they don't want to be at peace with you, guess what? He will just move them out of the way. Yeah, he will not move you out the way, he will move them out the way. See, y'all not ready for this. I'm telling you. But what you have to do, listen diligently to his voice and obey and observe to obey his commandments, his statutes, his laws, his precepts. Don't listen to the people who's telling you, do you know how to do that? That's legalism. And don't listen to them people. They're lying to you. We continue reading, right? Verse 7. Wait, hold on. Verse 7. Yes. Oh yeah. Yehovah will cause your enemies who rise up against you to be struck before you. They will come out against you one way, and they will run from you 7 ways. Tell me that ain't good. 8. Yehovah will command the blessing on you in your barns and in all that you put your hand to. So it doesn't matter. You're in the office, you're a security guard, you're a police officer, a soldier. Doesn't matter. A sailor, it doesn't matter. A teacher, it doesn't matter. You work with the sanitation company, doesn't matter. You're a carpenter, a builder, a road paver, it doesn't matter. Anything you put your hand to, Yehovah is going to cause you to be blessed. It's going to be on point. It's going to always look good. It's going to always feel good. It's going to always be good. 9. Yehovah will establish. I skipped part of verse 8. 9. Yehovah will establish you for a holy people to himself. Remember, that word holy means set apart, okay? Separate. So he's going to establish you as a separate people to himself. So that means you look, do, speak, act, everything about you is going to be different from the other people. And the other people is going to wonder about you. They're going to be like, who is this? Who is them people? And some of them might get saved. I'm going to read verse 9. Yehovah will establish you for a holy people to himself, as he has sworn to you. Pause, comma. If you shall keep the commandments of Yehovah, your Elohim, and walk in his ways. Verse 10. All the peoples of the earth shall see that you are called by his name. Remember that those passages in Numbers 6 and 22 onward that we read at the end of every session that we do. Remember those passages. Tell Aaron, this is how he will put my name on the people. So when Aaron says over the people, Yehovah bless you and keep you over, and all this way, he is putting Yehovah's name on the people. And when Yehovah look at the people and see his name on them, he will bless them. See how everything ties is like a nice, pretty bouquet. Don't listen to the people who have been lying to you for all these. This has been going on for centuries, these lies. So a lot of people is ingrained, they're entrenched in it. They're in the dugout. And the bullets flying and they can't come out because of them bullets. God is saying the way to come out of the bullets is to change and prevent getting shot, is to change your perception. Look at this a different way. Look at it through his eyes. Understand with his understanding. Let this mind be in you, which was also in Yeshua, the Messiah. Who became obedient even unto death. What? Obedient to what? To his laws, his statutes, his commandments, his precept, his voice, everything. I'm just telling you like it is. Verse 10 again. All the peoples of the earth shall see that you are called by Yehovah's name, and they will be afraid of you. They will respect you. They wouldn't come up pointing their finger in your nose and saying all this stuff. They ain't gonna be talking about you behind your back and all kind. No, because if they do those things, God is going to deal. Yeah, he's going to deal with them. And they're going to realize, wait a second, I can't be, no, I can't do that. Can't do that. No. I hold them in high esteem. Because they know, or they will know. Verse 11, Yehovah will grant you abundant prosperity in the fruit of your body. Again, does not necessarily mean a lot of children, okay? It could mean whatever children you have, the children will be well. Your children will do well. They will be healthy. They will be wise. They would be a necessity to society, right? They themselves will grow up to be righteous. That's what that means. Okay? So the abundant prosperity in the fruit of your body, in the fruit of your livestock. So he kind of going over that. In the fruit of your ground, in the land which Yehovah swore to your fathers to give to you. Yehovah, in verse 12, will open to you his good treasure in the sky to give rain. Okay? Because if you're a farmer, you need rain. And you don't just need rain anytime. You need rain when it's time for the rain to fall. Not just anytime. Okay? So he said to give rain of your land in its season. Okay? And to bless all the work of your hands. You go over that again. You will lend to many peoples. The word in the verse here says nations, but it's not nations, and it could be nations. Okay? You might be wealthy to the point where you could literally lend money to an entire country. You know, big or small, whatever, I don't know. Right? But you will lend to many peoples or many nations, and you will not borrow. You will not be running to the bank, borrowing money, trying to, I want to build this house, I want to add this room, I want to do this, I want to buy this, I want to buy that. Right? You build, you borrow, and you fall into debt. And so don't ask me, but don't tell me about that, because I know it's a painful thing, okay? Verse 13. Yehovah will make you the head and not the tail. You will be above only, and you will not be beneath. If you listen to the commandments of Yehovah, your Elohim, which I command you today, to observe them and do them. Not just listen. Oh, okay, that sounds all good, but them guys over there say I don't have to do none of that because all of that is gone. Bye-bye. So I don't have to. No. No. The time has come for us to be mature, for us to listen carefully to what Yah is saying. Come to the perspective of this is his wisdom, not mine. Because I have none. Anything I have in wisdom and wealth, which I don't have any, but if I have it, it's because of him. Because I can't get none of that by myself. All this I'm reading to you, the way I read, this whole mechanism of teaching, the way I teach, the way I talk, my personality, all of that is him. It's him, his hand, his forming, his shaping, his molding, his like Jeremiah say, he is the potter and I'm the clay. I'm trying to be a nice piece of soft, moist clay, not a hard, dry piece of clay. You know what I'm saying? I'm not perfect. Boy, you have no idea. I am not perfect in no way, shape, form, or even fashion. Okay? I wish I was. I really, God knows how I wish I was perfect, but I'm not. And it's a painful thing. Okay? I'm one of them people who hate to make a mistake. And when I make a mistake, I don't take it out on people. I take it out on myself. And you would not like to know how I treat myself when I make a mistake. It's not a pretty sight. I'm the worst person to my own self. And I've said this before, and I'll say it again. I'm a imperfect perfectionist. In other words, I love everything like perfect, but God, everything is never perfect, and it just drives me nuts. And guess what I had to do? I have to accede to that. I have to give in to that idea that, you know what? You ain't perfect, bro, so it ain't gonna always be the way you like it. So I have to allow myself to be like that, because if I don't, I could cause serious aggravation, not just to myself, but to people around me, and I don't want to do that. I could do to me, it's better me aggravate me than I aggravate you. See what I'm saying? Anyway, 13, he will make you the head and not the tail. You will be above only, and you will not be beneath. But it's only if you listen and do and observe to do all his commandments. It's again, why does he keep repeating the same thing? If he knows down the road, he's going to just wipe it away. Why is he repeating it, is my question. And the answer to that is, he is not taking it away. It's not being erased. As we read in Jeremiah 31, he's putting it in our heart. He's writing it on our heart and putting it in our inward parts. Stop believing the lie. I know it's hard. I know it's hard, because I said last time, there are people who love God. There are people who love God, and they love doing the right thing. They love their wife. They love their children. They don't want to have nothing to do with anything bad. There are lots of people like that. And a lot of those people believe they don't have to do the Sabbath. They don't have to do the commands. They don't have to. A lot of those people believe that. And that's one of the reasons why I have to bring this teaching forward, because I know that their heart is in the right place, but the perception is, the virus is still covering their eyes. Covering my eyes to some degree, because I'm still working on. The only way you could get it off is by continuing to read, continuing to study, continuing to think, and continue to just regurgitate all the stuff that you read. And don't follow evil, and don't listen to evil. He said, blessed is the man who walk not in the counsel of the ungodly. Don't listen to ungodly advice and all that kind of stuff. It's a package. It's a whole system, if you will. The kingdom of God, if you will. His principles, his laws, his statutes, his command. All of those things, it surrounds us. It governs us. And if we refuse to, if we keep ignoring it, we keep walking in the way of the virus, we're going to keep tumbling down and falling over, and eventually we will die. Okay? So observe to do, in the end of verse 13, to observe and to do, and shall not turn away from any words which I command you. To do. Turn away to the right hand or to the left hand, to go after other gods and serve them. So if we again, that whole thing I just described, if we keep in that vein, even when we slip and fall, if we make a mistake, we sin, we make a, because remember, we still not perfect, right? The time hasn't come, so we still walking the walk. Even as we walk the walk, if we walk in the walk in the parameters of that we're supposed to be in, God is going to pick us up. We're going to get back up and keep up. Is walking the, if we're not walking the walk, if we're outside of the parameters, that's when we're in trouble, because we're out there. And a lot of people out there and think they're in there, right? And hopefully I want to switch over to those people to show you how important it is. But we got to get this first. Look how much times we have heard the same words. Moses is emphasizing, just regurgitating the same words over and over and over again. Why is he doing it? Why is God saying it? And knowing that down the road, I'm going to erase it. This is not our Father. That is not the God we serve. That's not him. He says it over and over and over and over because he means it over and over and over and over. Because, he wants us to do it over and over and over. He wants it to be part of our very fabric, if you will. Verse 15. And again, this Deuteronomy chapter 28, it's 68 verses long. Okay? It's 68 verses long. We just read up to verse, where did we just read up to verse 14. So 68 verses, right? We read up to 14 that contains a lot of the blessings, if not all. I mean, I don't know how much more blessed than that you could want. Here's what we go, verse 15. We just got to 15 and it had to go the other way again. Verse 15, Deuteronomy 28. But it shall come to pass, if you will not listen to Yehovah, your Elohim's voice, to observe to do all his commandments and his statutes, which I command you today. If you do not listen, if you do not observe, if you do not do, that all these curses will come unto you and overtake you. And we go right back again to the curses. And the curses go on and on and on and on and on and on and on. All the way to the end of verse all the way to verse 68. Let me see verse 29. Sorry, chapter 29. I just skipped over to chapter 29 to see if it ends. These are the... Okay. Did you hear what I just said? We started Deuteronomy 28. Where we finished Deuteronomy 27 in the last teaching, and we already read a string of curses, okay, if we refuse to listen. So we go to 28, the first 14 verses. The chapter is 68 verses long. We read the first 14, 1-4, that contained the blessings. Verse 15 is a dire warning that if we refuse to listen. Verse 16 starts all the curses, and it goes from 16 to 68. Why is God so serious about this if he knows that 2,000 years down the road, Yeshua is going to come and erase all of that. Why? Again, my statement to you is because that we have been taught is not the truth. It's a lie, and we have to be honest with ourselves, and we have to come to terms with that truth, with this truth, with the truth that he didn't erase it, that we still have to be obedient to every jot and every tittle until heaven and earth pass away. Not one jot, not one tittle shall by any means. Let's go to Matthew 24. I'm going to close here. Okay? Matthew 24 states, you read Matthew 24, it's dire. Matthew 24, it's dire. I have to go to my notes again because I can't seem to find it. Where is it? This is serious, people. This is serious, people. Okay? This is desperately serious. I can't find it. Wait, let me see if it's in these notes here. Might be in these notes. I can't find the exact verse. It may not be 24, it might be 23 and all for all you know. Who knows? But these are the verses. These are no verbatim. And he said it all. Many will say in those days, Lord, didn't we prophesy in your name? Didn't we cast out demons in your name? Didn't we heal the sick in your name? And all these things. And he will say to them, depart from me. Still trying to find it. He will say to them, depart from me. He will say to them, depart from me, you who work iniquity. I got it. I think I got it. Luke 27, he says the same thing. Okay? Luke 27, he says the same thing. Can't find it. It's all right. We're going to start there next time. But he said to them, depart from me, you who work iniquity. I never knew you. We have got to understand how serious that is. These are people who are coming to him claiming that they would, what? They casting demons out in his name? They're healing the sick in his name? They're doing all these miraculous works in the name of Yeshua? And he says to them, depart from me, you who work iniquity. I never knew you. You may have known me, but I never knew you. That's some serious words. And that's where I want to leave it. I'm going to search, I'm going to find it, and we're going to start right there. So right where I left off today, in Matthew or Mark, or whichever one, it's okay. That's twice. That's two in a row, right? I'm off, but it's okay. But you know it. Go find it and read it. And we will discuss it next time. Turn with me to Numbers chapter 30. Sorry, Numbers chapter 6. I don't know where I get Numbers 30 from. Numbers 30 is a good chapter to read it. You learn some things. Numbers chapter 6 and verse 22. We're going to close there. We have got to get this right, people. We have to get it right. Or die trying. Die trying getting it right. If we continue to follow the lie, we'll probably die. We'll just die. Okay? We've got to get it right. And this is how we close. This is how I like to close every session that I do, with this blessing. It's a blessing. I want you to listen to it, read it, follow along, however you want to do it. But let it soak into you and understand what God was saying, what we talked about for this last hour and 23 minutes. Number 6, you there? Verse 22 goes as follows. Yehovah spoke to Moses, saying, speak to Aaron and to his sons, saying, this is how you shall bless the children of Israel. You shall tell them, Yehovah bless you and keep you. Yehovah make his face shine upon you and be gracious to you. Yehovah lift up his countenance upon you and give you peace. So they shall put my name upon the children of Israel, and I will bless them. So long, shalom, till next time. Peace.